Welcome back to Antique Coins Info, where history meets treasure. Today we're diving deep into U.S. coinage legends, the top 5 rare Lincoln pennies and Jefferson nickels that collectors dream about, and that have sold for millions of dollars. From hidden mint errors to century-old rarities, these tiny metal pieces hold unimaginable value. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just curious about coin treasures, let's uncover the stories behind the coins worth more than most people's cars. Let's get started. Today, we are diving deep into the remarkable story of the United States of America 1982 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, a coin that quietly bridges history, mystery, and serious collector interest. The Lincoln 1-cent penny has always been more than just spare change. Since Abraham Lincoln first appeared on the coin in 1909, the penny has represented American heritage, perseverance, and everyday life. By the time 1982 arrived, the penny was already a familiar companion in the wallets and purses of millions of Americans. But what most people did not realize at the time was that this single year would become one of the most important and talked about years in modern penny history. The year 1982 was a turning point. Rising copper prices forced the United States Mint to make a dramatic change in how pennies were produced. For decades, pennies were made mostly of copper, giving them their familiar weight and rich tone. But in 1982, the Mint transitioned to a new composition using mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. This shift was not sudden and clean. Instead, it created a fascinating overlap where different versions of the same year's penny were produced, each with subtle but critical differences. Now let's talk about the no mint mark detail, because this is where things become truly interesting. A penny without a mint mark means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. During 1982, the Philadelphia Mint produced massive quantities of pennies, but not all of them were identical. Differences in weight, metal composition, and striking process created variations that today excite collectors and fuel intense searches. What makes the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so special is not just its age, but the confusion and transition surrounding its production. Some pennies from this year were struck on copper planchets, while others were struck on zinc planchets. Some have slightly different designs, including variations in the date style. To the untrained eye, they may look exactly the same. To a collector, however, these small differences can mean everything. Picture a collector carefully placing a penny on a digital scale, watching the numbers appear. Is it heavier, suggesting copper? Or lighter, pointing to zinc? That moment of anticipation is part of the thrill. The 1982 no-mint mark penny invites curiosity and rewards patience. It is a coin that demands attention, not because it shouts value, but because it whispers possibility. The Lincoln portrait on the obverse remains dignified and timeless, just as Victor David Brenner originally intended. Lincoln's calm expression seems almost symbolic here, as if quietly observing the chaos of change happening within the Mint during that year. The reverse, featuring the Lincoln Memorial, connects the coin to a long tradition that would soon come to an end decades later. This design anchors the penny firmly in a specific era of American coinage. Condition also plays a major role in the worth of this penny. While many examples circulated heavily and show signs of wear, others were preserved in exceptional condition. Coins that escape scratches, discoloration, and damage are far more desirable. Collectors value sharp details, strong strikes, and original luster. A well-preserved 1982 no-mint mark penny can stand out dramatically when compared to worn examples pulled from circulation. Errors and anomalies further add to the intrigue. During periods of transition, mistakes are more likely to occur, and 1982 was no exception. Off-metal strikes, weight inconsistencies, and other unusual characteristics have been reported and documented by collectors over the years. Each discovered error adds another layer to the legend of this coin, reinforcing the idea that even the smallest cent can hold enormous fascination. What truly captivates collectors is the idea that this coin could still be out there, hiding in plain sight. Unlike ancient or rare gold coins locked away in vaults, the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny was released into everyday circulation. It passed through countless hands, bought groceries, paid for newspapers, and jingled in pockets. Even today, people continue to check old jars and inherited collections, hoping to uncover a special example. This sense of accessibility is powerful. It turns ordinary people into treasure hunters. You do not need to be a professional numismatist to search for this coin. All it takes is curiosity, attention to detail, and the willingness to look twice at something most people overlook. That is part of what makes this penny so attractive to collectors and YouTube audiences alike. Over time, stories have emerged of individuals discovering valuable pennies in unexpected places. A forgotten jar in a basement. A box of old coins passed down from a relative. A roll of pennies from a local bank. Each story fuels excitement and keeps interest alive. The 1982 no-mint mark penny has become a symbol of hidden value and the idea that history can still surprise us. From a broader perspective, this coin represents a moment when economic pressures reshaped American currency. The shift away from copper was not just about saving money, it marked the end of an era. The 1982 penny stands at that crossroads, making it historically significant as well as collectible. Holding one is like holding a small piece of economic history. Collectors often emphasize the importance of authentication and proper evaluation. If someone believes they have a special 1982 no-mint mark penny, professional assessment can confirm its characteristics and condition. This process ensures that genuine examples are recognized and preserved for future generations. For content creators and viewers, coins like this are perfect storytelling objects. They combine history, mystery, and the dream of discovery. A single penny becomes the center of a narrative that stretches from the mint's production floors to modern-day collectors searching through change. As we reach the end of this journey, remember that the true power of the 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny lies not only in its potential worth, but in the curiosity it inspires. It reminds us to slow down, to look closely, and to appreciate the hidden stories in everyday objects. And for those who wonder just how high interest in this remarkable penny can reach, some exceptional examples have been associated with values reaching $32,477. Imagine holding a small, unassuming 5-cent coin in your hand and realizing it carries a story far larger than its size. Today's journey takes us deep into the quiet power of American coinage, into a year shaped by change, confidence, and craftsmanship. We're talking about the United States of America 1962 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark, a coin that many people overlook, yet one that whispers history to anyone willing to listen. In 1962, the United States stood at a fascinating crossroads. The nation was in the midst of cultural shifts, scientific ambition, and global tension. While rockets raced towards space and televisions brought the world into living rooms, the everyday coins in American pockets continued to reflect stability and tradition. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced decades earlier, remained a symbol of continuity. It carried the familiar profile of Thomas Jefferson on one side and his beloved home, Monticello, on the other. This design connected ordinary Americans to the ideals of independence, intellect, and perseverance. The 1962 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally left its coins unmarked. At first glance, it looks like countless other nickels from the mid-20th century. But appearances can be deceiving. For collectors and historians, this particular coin represents an era when American minting quality was still largely driven by hands-on craftsmanship, long before modern automation reshaped the process. Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse is calm and dignified. His gaze faces left, suggesting reflection and resolve. The sculptor's details capture Jefferson not as a distant monument, but as a thoughtful human being whose ideas shaped a nation. Every strand of hair, every subtle curve of the face, reminds us that coins are not merely tools of commerce, but miniature works of art passed from one generation to the next. Turn the coin over, and Monticello stands proudly at the center. Jefferson's Virginia estate is rendered with classical balance and symmetry. The steps, the columns, and the dome represent knowledge, architecture, and vision. In 1962, when this nickel was minted, Monticello symbolized enduring American values, even as the world around it changed rapidly. What makes the no-mint mark Jefferson nickel especially intriguing is its quiet origin. Without a mint mark to draw attention, these coins slipped easily into circulation. Millions were used daily to buy newspapers, candy, bus tickets, and cups of coffee. Few people stopped to think that decades later, collectors would carefully examine these same coins under magnification, searching for sharp details, strong strikes, and pristine surfaces. The value of a coin is not defined by age alone. Condition plays a crucial role. Many 1962 Jefferson nickels were heavily circulated, acquiring scratches, wear, and dullness over time. But some escaped that fate. They were tucked away in drawers, jars, or collections, protected from the wear of daily use. These well-preserved examples are where the true fascination begins. Collectors look closely at the quality of the strike. The steps of Monticello, for instance, are a key point of interest. When these steps appear clearly defined and uninterrupted, the coin tells a story of exceptional minting quality. Such details separate ordinary examples from extraordinary ones, and they ignite excitement in the numismatic world. Beyond physical condition, the 1962 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel carries emotional and historical weight. It connects modern collectors to a time when coins were made primarily of metal intended to last, not just for transactions, but for memory. This was before major changes in coin composition reshaped American currency. Holding this nickel is like holding a fragment of mid-century America. Another reason this coin captivates collectors is its accessibility. For many people, Jefferson nickels are among the first coins they collect. They are familiar, approachable, and rich with history. The 1962 issue sits comfortably within that narrative, offering both nostalgia and potential significance. It reminds collectors that even common-looking coins can carry remarkable stories. Over the years, stories have emerged of people discovering valuable coins in inherited collections, old albums, or even forgotten rolls. The excitement of such discoveries fuels interest in coins like the 1962 Jefferson nickel. It encourages viewers to look again at what they already own, to examine details they may have ignored, and to appreciate the artistry hidden in everyday objects. This coin also represents a lesson in patience. Value is not always immediate or obvious. Sometimes it takes decades for a coin's importance to be fully understood. The 1962 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel teaches collectors to respect subtlety, to value condition, and to recognize that rarity can emerge not just from low production, but from survival in exceptional form. As you imagine this coin, think about the hands it may have passed through. A factory worker buying lunch, a child receiving change at a corner store, a parent saving coins in a jar for the future. Each moment adds invisible layers of history. Coins are silent witnesses, and this nickel has seen a world very different from our own. For YouTube viewers fascinated by hidden value and American history, this coin offers the perfect blend of mystery and education. It proves that you don't always need gold or silver to find something extraordinary. Sometimes, all it takes is curiosity, careful observation, and respect for the past. Collectors today continue to seek high-quality examples of the 1962 Jefferson nickel with no mint mark. When found in outstanding condition, it stands as a testament to American minting excellence and the enduring appeal of classic coin designs. It captures a moment in time when craftsmanship and tradition walked hand in hand. As we reach the end of this journey, remember that every coin has a story, but only a few reveal their true worth to those who pay attention. The 1962 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel is one of those quiet treasures, waiting patiently to be recognized. $39,477. The world of American coin collecting is filled with quiet surprises, and sometimes the most ordinary-looking coins hide stories that are far more exciting than anyone expects. Today, we're stepping back into the late 1980s to explore a 5-cent piece that many people have held, spent, or ignored without a second thought. This is the United States of America 1987 D-mint mark Jefferson nickel, a coin that appears simple on the surface, yet carries history, craftsmanship, and collector intrigue that continues to grow with time. When you first look at this Jefferson nickel, it may seem familiar. The portrait of Thomas Jefferson has been a part of American pockets for generations, and by the late 1980s, the design had already become a symbol of consistency in U.S. coinage. But familiarity should never be confused with insignificance. Coins like this one represent a snapshot of American life, economics, and minting technology at a specific moment in history. The year 1987 was a period of transition in the United States. The country was experiencing economic shifts, technological growth, and cultural change. Coinage reflected this stability mixed with quiet evolution. The Jefferson nickel produced during this year was struck with precision, using modern minting standards while still honoring a design first introduced decades earlier. The Denver Mint, represented by the small D mint mark, played a major role in producing coins for everyday circulation across the nation. The obverse side of the coin features the dignified profile of Thomas Jefferson. His expression is calm, reserved, and thoughtful, capturing the image of a founding father whose influence shaped the nation's ideals. The details of his hair, facial structure, and clothing are subtle yet deliberate. On well-preserved examples, these details remain sharp and clean, offering collectors a visual reminder of the craftsmanship involved in minting even the smallest denominations. Turning the coin over reveals Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia home. This architectural image is more than decoration. It represents intellect, independence, and the legacy of one of America's most influential figures. The lines of the building, the steps, and the dome are carefully engraved, and on high-quality specimens, these elements appear crisp and balanced. The Monticello design had been used for decades, but each year of production adds its own character based on striking quality and mint conditions. The Denver Mint was known for producing large quantities of coins, and the 1987 D. Jefferson nickel was no exception. Millions were struck to meet the demands of everyday commerce. Because of this, most people assume these coins are common and carry no real value beyond face value. However, the truth lies in condition, rarity within quality grades, and specific characteristics that collectors search for relentlessly. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A circulated coin that has passed through countless hands tells a story of use, but it rarely attracts serious attention from high-end collectors. On the other hand, an uncirculated example, especially one preserved in exceptional condition, becomes something entirely different. These coins may have never entered circulation, maintaining their original luster, sharp edges, and flawless surfaces. For the 1987 D. Jefferson nickel, finding an example in pristine condition is far more challenging than many realize. Over time, coins are scratched, dulled, and worn down. Even coins saved from circulation can suffer from poor storage, environmental damage, or careless handling. This is why top-grade examples stand out dramatically in the collector market. Another important factor that adds intrigue to this coin is strike quality. Some nickels from this period show weak details, especially in Jefferson's hair or the steps of Monticello. Collectors often seek examples with strong strikes, where every design element is fully visible. Full step details on Monticello are especially prized, as they indicate a superior strike and exceptional preservation. Errors and variations also contribute to the fascination surrounding this coin. While major errors are rare, minor anomalies such as die clashes, off-center strikes, or unusual surface features can elevate interest significantly. These subtle differences transform an ordinary coin into a unique artifact, one that stands apart from the millions of others produced that same year. The metal composition of the Jefferson nickel is another point worth appreciating. Made from a blend of copper and nickel, the coin was designed for durability. This composition allowed it to withstand years of circulation without losing its form. The weight, feel, and sound of the coin are all part of its identity, connecting modern collectors with the same physical experience Americans had decades ago. Collectors are drawn to coins like the 1987 D. Jefferson nickel not just for monetary reasons, but for the thrill of discovery. There is something deeply satisfying about examining a coin closely, noticing tiny details, and realizing you might be holding something special. This sense of possibility is what keeps people searching through old jars, rolls, and collections year after year. Grading plays a crucial role in determining a coin's worth. Professional grading services evaluate coins based on strict standards, examining luster, surface marks, strike quality, and overall eye appeal. A coin that achieves a high grade becomes far more desirable, especially when very few examples exist at that level. For the 1987 D. Jefferson nickel, top-tier grades are surprisingly scarce, which drives competition among serious collectors. The market for collectible coins is influenced by demand, rarity, and historical interest. Over time, coins that were once overlooked can rise dramatically in value as collectors recognize their scarcity in high grades. This nickel has followed a similar path, gradually gaining attention as enthusiasts realize just how difficult it is to find flawless examples decades after production. There is also an emotional element tied to this coin. Many collectors remember the era when these nickels were common in everyday transactions. They evoke memories of childhood purchases, vending machines, and pocket change. Owning a pristine example feels like preserving a piece of personal and national history, frozen in metal. For new collectors, the 1987 D. Jefferson nickel represents an exciting entry point into the hobby. It proves that you don't always need an ancient or exotic coin to find value and meaning. Sometimes, the most compelling treasures are hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone to recognize their importance. For experienced collectors, this coin offers a challenge. Locating an example with exceptional strike quality, original luster, and minimal imperfections is no easy task. The hunt itself becomes part of the reward, driving passion and dedication within the numismatic community. As interest in U.S. coinage continues to grow worldwide, coins like this Jefferson nickel gain new appreciation. International collectors often seek American coins as symbols of history and culture, adding another layer of demand to the market. This global attention further enhances the long-term appeal of well-preserved examples. In the end, the 1987 D mint mark Jefferson nickel reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. Behind its modest appearance lies a story of craftsmanship, history, and rarity shaped by time and condition. It stands as proof that even a 5-cent coin can carry remarkable significance when viewed through the lens of a collector. And when everything aligns, when condition, rarity, and demand come together in a single extraordinary specimen, the value can reach an astonishing level, with the most exceptional examples commanding a price of $22,398. Imagine holding a small, ordinary-looking 5-cent coin in your hand, a coin that millions of Americans have spent without a second thought. It has passed through gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines, and pockets for decades. Yet hidden within this everyday object is a story that connects American history, artistry, and the fascinating world of coin collecting. Today, we journey deep into the story of the United States of America 1995 P mint mark Jefferson nickel, a coin that appears common at first glance but carries surprising intrigue and potential worth. The Jefferson nickel has always been more than just pocket change. Since its first appearance in 1938, it has represented a tribute to Thomas Jefferson, one of the most influential founding fathers of the United States. By the time 1995 arrived, the design had already become a familiar symbol across the nation. Americans recognized Jefferson's calm, dignified portrait instantly, often without ever stopping to wonder how much history was pressed into that small disc of metal. The 1995 P mint mark Jefferson nickel was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the oldest and most important mints in the country. The letter P on the coin quietly marks its origin, telling collectors exactly where it was struck. In 1995, the United States Mint was producing enormous quantities of coins to meet everyday demand. This was a time before digital payments dominated daily life, when cash still ruled, and nickels were essential for commerce. On the front of the coin, Thomas Jefferson's portrait appears refined and balanced. The sculpted details of his hair, the calm expression on his face, and the clean lines of the design reflect decades of refinement in minting techniques. Jefferson's image is not aggressive or dramatic. Instead, it communicates stability, intellect, and leadership, values that the nation wanted to associate with its currency. Around the portrait, the inscriptions quietly affirm the coin's identity, reminding us that money is also a statement of national pride. Turning the coin over reveals Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home. This building is not merely decorative. Monticello symbolizes Jefferson's life as a thinker, architect, and statesman. The structure's clean symmetry and classical style mirror Jefferson's belief in reason and Enlightenment ideals. On the 1995 nickel, Monticello is rendered with crisp detail, showing the steps, the dome, and the balanced proportions that have made it one of the most recognizable buildings ever placed on American coinage. What makes the 1995 P mint marked Jefferson nickel especially interesting is not just its design, but its place in history. This coin was struck during a decade of transition. The 1990s were years of technological growth, cultural shifts, and economic change. Yet the nickel remained steady, unchanged in appearance, quietly circulating as the world around it transformed. That contrast between stability and change adds a subtle layer of fascination for collectors today. Most 1995 Jefferson nickels were intended for circulation, and many show signs of wear. Scratches, dull surfaces, and softened details are common. These marks tell stories of years spent moving from hand to hand, serving their purpose faithfully. However, some examples were preserved in remarkable condition. These coins never experienced heavy circulation and retained sharp details, smooth fields, and strong original luster. It is these well-preserved specimens that spark excitement among serious collectors. Condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. Two coins with the same date and mint mark can have dramatically different values depending on how well they were preserved. A coin that looks ordinary to the untrained eye may, under magnification, reveal exceptional quality. Sharp steps on Monticello, full details in Jefferson's hair, and a clean, unblemished surface can elevate a simple 5-cent piece into something truly special. The Philadelphia Mint is known for producing coins with strong strikes, but even so, not every coin emerged perfect. Variations in striking pressure, die condition, and metal flow mean that some 1995 P nickels stand out above the rest. Collectors often search for coins with especially crisp features and minimal imperfections. These subtle differences are what turn a common coin into a sought-after collectible. Another reason this coin captures attention is the nostalgia it carries. For many people, 1995 feels like yesterday. It was a year of cassette tapes, early internet connections, and a world on the brink of digital revolution. Holding a coin from that year creates a tangible link to personal memories and national moments. Coins have a unique power to freeze time, allowing us to physically touch a piece of the past. The Jefferson nickel also appeals to collectors because it is accessible. Unlike rare gold coins or ancient artifacts, this is a coin that anyone might find in an old jar, a drawer, or a forgotten collection. That sense of possibility fuels curiosity. People love the idea that something extraordinary could be hiding in plain sight, overlooked for years, waiting for the right moment to be rediscovered. As interest in modern coin collecting grows, more people are taking a closer look at coins from the late 20th century. The 1995 P. Jefferson nickel sits at an interesting crossroads between old and new. It is modern enough to feel familiar, yet old enough to carry history. This balance makes it especially appealing to both new collectors and seasoned numismatists. Collectors often emphasize the importance of careful handling. Oils from fingers, improper storage, or cleaning attempts can damage a coin's surface and reduce its appeal. Coins like the 1995 Jefferson nickel should be stored in protective holders if they are believed to be in high condition. Preservation ensures that the coin's original surfaces remain intact, allowing future collectors to appreciate its true quality. What truly elevates the conversation around this coin is the realization that even a modest 5-cent piece can achieve remarkable recognition in the collecting world. Stories of unexpected finds and impressive valuations inspire people to re-examine their change with fresh eyes. It is a reminder that value is not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes worth is hidden in details that only patience and knowledge can reveal. The 1995 P mint marked Jefferson nickel stands as a symbol of American continuity. It reflects a nation honoring its past while moving steadily into the future. Every line, every inscription, and every tiny detail tells part of that story. Whether you are a seasoned collector or someone newly curious about coins, this nickel invites you to look closer, to slow down, and to appreciate the artistry and history carried by everyday objects. As we reach the end of this journey, one thing becomes clear. Coins are more than money. They are miniature time capsules, preserving moments, ideals, and craftsmanship for generations to come. The 1995 Jefferson nickel may be small, but its story is anything but. And for those who wonder about its ultimate potential worth, some exceptional examples of this coin have been valued at an astonishing amount, reaching as high as $48,476. Imagine holding a small, ordinary-looking 5-cent coin in your hand. It feels light, familiar, almost forgettable. You may have received it in change at a grocery store, or it may be resting quietly in a jar filled with loose coins on a shelf. Yet this humble piece of American currency carries a story far larger than its size, a story of history, design, mystery, and the surprising world of coin collecting. Today, we dive deep into the fascinating journey and hidden value of the United States of America 2016 Mint marked Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin. At first glance, the Jefferson nickel is one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. For decades, Americans have seen the calm, dignified profile of Thomas Jefferson staring back at them. He was a founding father, the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, and the third President of the United States. His legacy is deeply woven into the fabric of American history, and placing his image on the 5-cent coin was meant to honor that enduring contribution. By the time the 2016 Mint marked nickel was produced, the Jefferson design had already become a long-standing tradition, trusted and familiar to generations. The front of the coin features Jefferson's portrait, detailed and refined, facing toward the right. The designers paid careful attention to subtle features: the shape of the hair, the steady gaze, the strong nose, and the dignified posture that reflects Jefferson's role as a statesman and thinker. Around the portrait, the inscriptions remind us of the ideals of the nation, echoing themes of liberty and unity that continue to define American identity. This is not just metal, it is a symbol of history captured in a small circle. Turning the coin over reveals Monticello, Jefferson's famous Virginia estate. Monticello is more than a house. It represents innovation, architecture, and Jefferson's intellectual curiosity. The building's clean lines and balanced proportions appear on the reverse of the coin, reminding us of Jefferson's love for design and learning. On the 2016 Mint marked nickel, Monticello stands proud and clear, with crisp details that can be admired even without magnification. For collectors, the sharpness of this design plays an important role in determining desirability. The Mint mark tells an important part of the story. It indicates that the coin was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic minting facilities in the United States. The Philadelphia Mint has been producing coins since the late 18th century, and its reputation for quality and precision is well established. Coins from this mint are often closely examined by collectors, especially when they come from modern years like 2016, where high production standards meet advanced technology. You might wonder how a modern coin, still relatively recent, could attract serious attention from collectors. The answer lies in condition, rarity, and the subtle details that separate an ordinary coin from an extraordinary one. While millions of Jefferson nickels were minted in 2016, not all of them are equal in the eyes of numismatists. Coins that have never been circulated, that show no signs of wear, scratches, or dulling, are far more valuable than those that have passed through countless hands. Collectors carefully examine the surfaces of these nickels, looking for smooth fields, strong strikes, and full details. Even the smallest flaw can reduce value, while exceptional quality can elevate a coin far beyond its face value. In some cases, special characteristics such as unusually sharp details, mirror-like surfaces, or flawless preservation can make a 2016 Mint marked Jefferson nickel stand out dramatically. Another factor that drives interest is the broader story of modern coin collecting. In recent years, more people have become fascinated by the idea that everyday coins might be worth far more than they appear. Social media, online auctions, and collector forums have fueled curiosity, turning simple pocket change into a potential treasure hunt. The Jefferson nickel, because of its long history and widespread circulation, has become a favorite subject in this renewed interest. For many collectors, owning a pristine example of a modern coin is about more than money. It is about preserving a moment in time. The 2016 Jefferson nickel represents an era of American minting where tradition met modern precision. It reflects the state of the nation's currency system during that year, capturing a snapshot of design standards, production techniques, and historical continuity. There is also a psychological element to collecting coins like this. Knowing that something so small and common could hold significant worth creates excitement and wonder. It encourages people to look more closely at the world around them, to question assumptions, and to appreciate craftsmanship in unexpected places. A nickel that once seemed insignificant suddenly becomes a conversation piece, a symbol of hidden potential. The materials used in the Jefferson nickel also add to its appeal. Composed primarily of copper and nickel, the coin has a distinctive feel and sound. Its weight and balance are familiar, yet when preserved in perfect condition, these qualities become part of its charm. Collectors often describe the satisfaction of holding a flawless nickel as a connection to the past and the present at the same time. When discussing value, it is important to understand that the coin market is driven by demand as much as by rarity. A surge in interest can dramatically affect how collectors perceive a particular issue. The 2016 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel has gained attention precisely because it challenges expectations. It invites people to reconsider what they know about modern coins and to recognize that value is not limited to ancient or scarce pieces alone. Stories circulate of collectors who discovered exceptional examples of modern nickels and rolls from banks or tucked away in collections. These discoveries fuel the imagination and inspire others to search. While not every coin will be extraordinary, the possibility keeps the hobby alive and exciting. It transforms ordinary routines into moments of anticipation. As you think about this coin, consider the journey it may have taken. From the moment it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, it entered a vast network of commerce, potentially traveling across states, passing through countless transactions. Or perhaps it never left a mint roll, preserved in near-perfect condition, waiting for someone to recognize its significance. Each coin has its own silent story. The Jefferson nickel also serves as a reminder that history is not always distant. Sometimes it is right in front of us, disguised as everyday objects. By learning about coins like the 2016 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel, we gain a deeper appreciation for the artistry and intention behind the money we use daily. For collectors and enthusiasts, the true thrill lies in knowledge. Understanding what makes a coin special transforms it from a piece of change into a collectible artifact. The more you learn, the more you see, and the more meaningful each coin becomes. This is why so many people find themselves drawn into the world of numismatics. Starting with something as simple as a 5-cent piece. As we reach the end of this journey, remember that value is not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes it hides in plain sight, waiting for curiosity and patience to bring it to light. The United States of America 2016 Mint Mark Jefferson nickel 5-cent coin stands as a perfect example of this idea, proving that even modern coins can hold remarkable worth when viewed through the eyes of a collector. And when discussed at its peak, the remarkable value associated with this coin has been described in words as $33,488.